I'm Bill Coates, registered pharmacist by profession, certified clinical nutritionist. I want to thank all the people where we can get the information out to the world, the great attributes of Gro-Aloe. I put the first commercial aloe vera products on the market 52 years ago after I solved the sterility problem and the problem of losing its activity. I solved those problems and got patents on that is when I put the first aloe vera products on the market. And I put in the first aloe vera plantation that was ever produced in the world. After I established the plantation, I observed that the plants had no diseases whatsoever, none. And they're not affected by any insects. Why? No other plants can say that. Well, the last 30 years or so, I've been researching that aspect of the aloe vera. The Gro-Aloe, it kills everything we have tried it on in the laboratory. It increased production, it repelled all insects. Every disease is caused by bacteria, virus, or fungus, or mold, or yeast. We can't say it kills every fungus in the world because we haven't tried it on every fungus in the world. We haven't found any fungus, bacteria, mold, or yeast we can't kill yet. If we could take those two attributes, repelling all insects and protecting the plants against all diseases, you can change the world food supply. The Rice Institute of Indonesia, in the 31 different plots they found that by using the product, they got between 40 and 50% more rice. And they reported, although they used no insecticide or insect repellent, they had no problem with insects. And that's part of why you get more production. The second part is because it does so many things for the soil. It releases the nutrients that's been tied up in the soil, the natural minerals that the plants got to have to grow. When they get tied up with other minerals because of overuse of tons of these fertilizers over the years, they get tied up so tightly the plant can't utilize them from the soil. Well, due to Gro-Aloe having the ability to chelate and release and separate those minerals, now the plants can absorb them. So if the minerals is in the soil, the plants can utilize them to grow. Of course, for those fields that's where they have grown plants and everything for thousands of years and completely diminished all the minerals from the ground, Gro-Aloe is not going to make plants grow because plants has got to have nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, and all this to grow. The Gro-Aloe just helps the plant utilize what's there. The government of Indonesia set up a contest between PT Coates Agri, our company, and two major multi-billion-dollar chemical companies. And they gave us all 1 hectare of rice to grow. The two major chemical companies came over to our people and says, why is those snails leaving the Coates field and going over and getting in our fields and eating our crop? I really cried all night when I heard that. But they don't like the taste of the anthraquinones. They're bitter. They leave. So it didn't have any problem with the snails. And then the next problem you have is with a moth that comes in and lays eggs on the rice leaf. And it hatches out into a caterpillar. And then that turns into a worm that eats the plants. Well, it repels the moth. And then A&M proved it with their studies there that Gro-Aloe repels all insects and it stimulates the growth of every plant they have tried it on. Like in the rice, they got roughly 50% more rice. The government of Indonesia enlisted the services of an Indonesian, been growing rice for over 50 years. He was an expert in growing rice. And the contest was held on his land, and he invited a lot of his friends, a lot of governmental people, a lot of big rice growers, and he was showing these people, the plants, the difference in the Coates fields and the other two fields. And when he pulled up plants from the 3 fields, he showed that the Coates rice, they had 3 times the number of roots, and the roots was twice as long. The Coates plug of rice had 90 tillers, which is the stalk that holds the rice, and the other 2 companies averaged 50 tillers. Well, therefore, we grew almost 50% more rice. Well, he had 2 girls there. They took pictures of all 3 fields, and they made movies of all 3 fields. And they sent them to a general over in Myanmar, country close to India, that grows a lot of rice. Showed him the video and the pictures. He saw that and he called him immediately and he said, I have never seen rice as beautiful and as productive as this. I want to start using it immediately. But the girls took him a kilo of the powder over there. And it just so happened the only rice that was available was he had a crop of rice that was 60 days in production. It was already infected with brown leaf spot. That's a disease caused by fungus. You have to stop spraying it when it starts blooming. So they only had time to spray the plants 4 times, but they were amazed when they harvested that crop and they got 80% more rice than had ever been grown on a field in Myanmar. That's what the plant does and stimulate rice production. Indonesia used to be the 3rd largest producer of cocoa in the world, but due to fungus, some trees not producing at all, some lost 90%, other trees not as bad, but they have lost the majority of their chocolate production. They're greatly concerned for this. I spoke at this cocoa convention. Now, I told them what the results we got with the rice. Of course, that was rice, but this is cocoa and it's a completely different thing. So the government set up a contest between Coates PT, Agri, and 2 major chemical companies to treat 50 infected cocoa trees. All of us had 50 trees apiece. Well, we went and we removed the debris from under the tree and we sprayed the ground and then we sprayed the trunk of the tree until it was saturated. And then 2 days later, we sprayed all the leaves and the small limbs back and forth. And I've got pictures here of the first tree. It looks like it's dead. The leaves look like they're dead. No, hadn't produced in years. This picture, this was taken on November the 28th. The first picture. The second picture is of the leaves on the tree 3 days later, on the 31st. And the leaves, you can tell they're already getting greener and much more vibrant. Well, the third picture we have here is on day 22. 22, the leaves are green, they are shiny, and you can actually see little pods of cocoa coming out on the tree. That's in 22 days. Well, they have sprayed those trees now. They sprayed them monthly for 6 months. And they were growing on some trees as many as 3 times the amount of pods as they got on the trees before they got infected to begin with. And the trees are still highly productive. In the past, they would harvest the cocoa pods only twice a year. Now they harvest them monthly because they are getting a lot more production. Gro-Aloe is so versatile. Every plant that we have tried it on, it's worked in repelling insects and killing the bacteria, virus, or mold, or fungus, or what's causing the problem. It's worked on all of them. We haven't had a failure, not one. So in looking into the big problem they're having with the fungus destroying the banana industry, it's a tremendous problems that they're having there. And they have no treatment whatsoever. This fungus gets in the ground and it kills the banana trees. And one of the bad part is it produces a spore which stays in the ground and it lasts forever, I guess. I don't know how long it lasts. But when you plant baby banana trees there, it hatches out again and the fungus kills the trees. Well, I do believe that if we kill it in the laboratory, then it will kill it in the fields. Maybe we can solve the problems with the bananas like we have with the cocoa. And I am really excited about the cocoa because according to Dr. Moran, a PhD that we hired to help us in Indonesia, he says in the report that we have from him here that Gro-Aloe is the only agent in the world that will work on the cocoa trees. Agri-Low will grow to be one of the largest selling agricultural product in the world is because of its versatility. It's the only product in the world that, as far as we know, repels all insects. Well, if you don't have insects damage to the plant, you're going to grow more production.